Days Gone lead says, don't complain if there's no sequel if you didn't buy it full price. Here you got a developer that released a apparently decent game a few months after launch. Because when Days Gone launched, it was a mess. So here's my counter to this whining developer that's blaming the customer for his failure. Developers, don't complain if people don't buy your game at full price if you do any of the following. 1. Release broken games that might be fixed later if you feel like it. 2. Censor your games. 3. Implement predatory monetization. Now, this could be a lot of things. Loot boxes, $60 season passes, $1,000 of DLC at the day the game launches, that type of stuff. Or 4, if you patch in any of the above after you've gotten your positive reviews. Why did I go through that list of stuff? Now, honestly, Days Gone is only guilty of the first one, but my point is, it's the developer's fault that nobody trusts them enough to buy their stuff day one at full price anymore. They have to resort to gimmicks like timed pre-order exclusives to trick people into buying their stuff again early. Because us gamers, we've gotten used to this from AAA devs in particular. They keep releasing broken games that aren't playable or finished, that sometimes until a year or two after launch. Why would we pay full price at launch to get that broken ass piece of shit when we can wait 2 years to have it actually finished and polished and get it for like a third of the price, huh? How dumb do you think we are? They also keep censoring their games. You censor a game, I'm not going to pay full price for it. I don't pay full price for censored product. I'm sorry. And even then, I won't buy it at all if you censored it, unless modders fix it for you, in which case I'm getting it at a steep discount on sale. That's the most you're going to get out of me. Predatory monetization, same thing. You expect me to pay full price for your game at launch when your game launches with hundreds, if not thousands of dollars of DLC? No. If I need to pay 5 figures to get the full game, no thank you, I'm waiting for a complete collection. Or worst of all is when they bait and switch you. Activision in particular is notorious for this. They release a game without any of the predatory monetization, and then when all the positive reviews come in, like a month or two after the game launches, then they're like, oh yeah, we're going to implement loot boxes now. That's why no one trusts you. So I don't want to see any developers bitching that gamers are not paying full price for their games day one anymore when they give us every reason not to. But let's continue. So John Garvin also says his departure from Bend Studio was based on personality, not performance. Well, given the fact that he's attacking his customers and using that as a scapegoat for why he failed, I think it was a good call getting rid of him, to be honest. Now, I wonder how much he actually has to do with the game, because a lot of times, this goes for any project, a lot of times the people taking all the credit had the least to do with the success. Sometimes they were actively campaigning against the thing that was successful, but they were in charge when the success happened, so they take all the credit. We got to keep that in mind. The creative director and writer of Days Gone has said that players should buy games at full price if they like them instead of waiting for them to go on sale or be given away as part of services like PlayStation Plus. No, man. No. Oh my God. Okay, so I just want to point out a little difference here. So what this guy seems to be doing is saying like, "Oh, it's because you fucking parasites, like you pay pigs didn't give us enough money. That's why we're in this that's why we're here." There are so many better ways to say it. Like, he literally could have said the same thing without pissing off his entire fan base by just saying, like, well, we were disappointed that there was lack of interest in what we're doing, but that's how the business works, right? I mean, we tried to put something out. If there was a lot of interest, we'd make more. If there's not interest, we move on to something else. Like, unfortunately, that's the way it works. And for this particular game, there wasn't enough interest, so we had to cancel it. Now, notice the way I said it that way. I'm not attacking the fans. I'm not trying to say that it's the fans' fault. The way I said it there, it's obvious that the fans who bought the game, they're not at fault. They did nothing wrong. The problem is there just weren't enough of them to justify continuing the way we were. That's the key difference. This motherfucker is actively blaming the people who paid him for his game because they didn't pay him enough. Oh, you pay pigs only gave me $35 instead of 60. How dare you? If you had just given me $60, we could have made another one. John Garvin was speaking to game designer David Jaffe on Jaffe's YouTube show, where he was asked if he'd heard anything about any meaningful uptick of engagement with Days Gone since the game was added to the PlayStation Plus collection on the piss nickel. I do have an opinion on something that your audience may find of interest, and it might piss some of them off, Garvin replied. If you love this game, buy it at fucking full price. I can't tell you how many times I've seen gamers say, yeah, I got that on sale. I got that on the PS Plus, whatever. If you want people to buy your stuff at full price, stop giving us every reason under the sun not to. Stop releasing broken, unfinished games that aren't worth the money until they're on sale, that aren't finished until they're on sale. Stop censoring. Stop with the predatory monetization scams. I pay full price for almost every indie game I buy. And the only exceptions, actually, are when I don't even learn about a game until I see until it's or through a sale. If a sale is going on and I'm just like, oh, I got a few minutes, let's just look through what's on sale, and I find a new game, like an indie game that I didn't know about before, I'll snap it up right then and there. Why not? It's on sale, right? But if I'm looking through the daily new releases on DL site and I see a new game by one of my favorite doujin circles that I'm following, I buy it immediately. Like, how much is this? $20? Hell yeah. I'm going to get way more than that much entertainment out of this thing once work is over, if you know what I mean. Because I trust them. They haven't stabbed me in the back yet. I've gotten nothing but good content from them and no reason to hold off. But how do you know you love a game until you've played it? Jaff responds. I'm just saying you don't. But don't complain if a game doesn't get a sequel if it wasn't supported at launch, Garvin replied. It's like God of War got whatever number millions of sales at launch, and Days Gone didn't. So as others are pointing out, God of War sold real well throughout its throughout the entire time it was relatively new on sale because of positive word of mouth. The first God of War did well because fans loved it and told others. It's not like they got all their sales day one. I'm just speaking for me personally as a developer. I don't work for Sony anymore. I don't know what the numbers are. I can tell you that when we were doing Siphon Filter, like Dark Mirror on the PSP, we got so fucked on Dark Mirror because piracy was a thing, and Sony wasn't really caught up on what piracy was doing to sales. Yeah, this guy's a lost cause. Of course it's piracy. This is the same excuse every loser makes. Meanwhile, indie developers put their own games on Pirate Bay and see like exponential growth in their sales because of it. The Western comic industry has been blaming piracy for their failure, while manga is pirated infinitely more because no one wants the Western stuff, honestly. And yet manga somehow is not having problems making sales, selling out. Why don't you explain that? Maybe I'll believe the piracy excuse if you show me why piracy isn't hurting your competition. Why is it just you? Are you just that special? Piracy is only affecting you? And we would show them the torrent. A torrent site has 200,000 copies of Dark Mirror being downloaded. If I remember it right, the numbers could be wrong, but regardless, I was pissed about it then. I was like, this is money out of my pocket. No, it's not. How many more times are we going to have to go through this, old man? Every pirated copy isn't a lost sale. In fact, the vast majority of them aren't lost sales. Back in my days as a pirate, I did it because I had no money. If you stopped me from pirating your shit back then, I wouldn't have bought it. I just would have pirated something else instead. And then after I got money, I wouldn't have gone back and given it to you because you would have stopped me from getting to play it anyway. So I think the uptick in engagement with the game is not as important as did you buy it at full price? Because if you did, then that's supporting the developers directly. Nah, bullshit. This whiny bitch is just mad that he failed. Every loser does this. Elsewhere in the 4-hour interview, Garvin confirms that his departure from Ben's studio was based on his personality rather than anything to do with the performance of Days Gone or any other potential sequel talks. So to be fair, Days Gone actually made a profit. It sold well. This goes back to what I talked about before, though. They don't want a profit. They want all the profit. But this whole thing, this is a good tagline to use. Or this is a good. I could steal this. It was personality, not performance. I'm probably going to have to use that when I end up leaving my current job. So yeah, I got sick of babysitting my boss. I decided I'd be better off doing my own projects. Anyway, after being asked directly by Jeff if he was fired, Garvin replied, "It was a hard, long development, 6 years. I worked 6 years of crunch. I could understand a little bit of the bitterness now if this game was the result of 6 years of crunch and it didn't end up getting all the money like Sony demanded. And here's the thing. I love working crunch. Well, then you can't be mad. I love what I do, so it's not a big deal. It doesn't sound like it, dude. But that doesn't mean it's good for me. So the last 2 years, I've actually been away from the studio and have actually been a blessing. I've been able to get up and do what I want. I've written 3 books and it's just a different thing. 2 years. 2 years. So why is that important? I don't know about these guys' contracts, but your average non-compete it's 1 to 2 years. So after leaving Bend, he may be planning on starting his own studio. He just had to wait 2 years to ride out his non-compete clause. You know, when you're in development, it's a nonstop pressure with milestones, profitability, and people management. This is why you avoid AAA and stick with indie. You know, to be honest, at the end of the day, what it really comes down to is we have a few heated arguments over the last year or so. I would end up yelling and saying something like, just give me a package so I can get the fuck out of here or some shit like that. Oh, that's how he got out, huh? Man, I'm actually sympathizing a little bit with this guy now, even after all the ripping on him so far, because I'm almost at that point myself as well, actually. Like, one wrong move from my boss, and that's going to be me. So just give me my fucking severance package so I can get the fuck out of here. Oh, I can sympathize now. Yeah, when it was just Chris Reese and I in a very small studio, that kind of heatedness was fine. But by the time you get to a 100-person studio, you can't have one of the directors losing their temper. So we're a real company now. This is why you avoid becoming a real company. And I'm not that great of a people person anyway. You don't say. It's not like they didn't try. I was put through training a couple of times, like, hey, here's how you go out to lunch with people more and be a better director. And dude, I just kind of sucked at all that. So from an employee standpoint, I think all that matters is like the individual employee's preferences. You go out and eat lunch with the extroverts. If you have an employee who's an introvert and you force them to do this shit, they will resent you for it. And this is speaking as an introvert. I can't stand it when they interrupted my workflow for like these team building shit. Like, dude, just let me do my work. Stop adding shit for me to do. I don't find this fun. Now, there were a few individual coworkers I enjoyed hanging out with, and I went out to lunch with them sometimes. But know your employees is what I'm trying to say. If your employees would rather be left alone, leave them alone. If they are extroverted as fuck and they want to go out and do these things, fine, do that with them. And don't worry about the introverts feeling excluded if you only do this shit with the extroverts. Everybody gets what they want in that arrangement. I can guarantee you the introverted employees are probably going to be super happy that you got the extroverts out of the office so they can work in peace. Again, speaking from experience. Later in the interview, Jaff seeks to clarify this by asking me, reading between the lines, which would suggest that you were fired from Bend because you were a disruptive personality. Oh, not pulling any punches. And that worked with a smaller team and a medium-sized team. But as the budgets and the stakes got higher and the number of people that had to work the team got bigger, that personality, at least according to that company, was no longer the right fit. Would you agree with that? Oh, he's right. Yeah, definitely, Garvin replied. Days Gone 2's game director. It's not going to happen. Jeff Ross also appeared on the Jaff Show earlier in the month, where he confirmed that he was at one point working on a Days Gone 2 pitch. Oh, there we go. See, I knew ahead of time that Days Gone 2 was already shot down, but due to an NDA with his former employer, couldn't confirm it had been canceled. This came just days after a Bloomberg report suggested PlayStation had rejected plans for a sequel to Days Gone. Yeah, that's not something I'd want to be referred to. Like, if I worked on a project that got canceled, imagine if that was what I was known for. Oh, that's the dude that did that canceled thing. Like, I did plenty of things that weren't canceled too. Can you at least associate that with me? Do me a favor here. Point of this is, don't turn on your own customers. Stop bitching. There are better ways to say this. You easily could have just said there wasn't enough interest to justify a sequel. I wanted to do one. We made a profit, but the money man up top decided we didn't make enough of a profit. So unfortunately, it ends here. He could have just said that. That way he wouldn't have blamed the fans who actually paid for his stuff. Oh man, I don't know. It's very obvious. At least he's honest. He's not good at this type of stuff. Yeah. So if you're really planning on doing what I think you are, you're just coming out of your 2-week non-compete, ready to start another company, definitely invest in a PR rep. And that's all I got to say about that. Oh man, I am so excited to tell you guys right now that finally, after about a year of build-up and shilling, we have launched Blade Devil on Indiegogo, and so far it is doing so well thanks to awesome people like you. If you haven't backed it yet, then please check the links in the description and check out Blade Devil on Indiegogo. You will not be disappointed. Looking forward to seeing you there.